Welcome to an all new episode of GVN Review. Today we are here to break down the first two episodes of Bad Batch Season 2. Me and AJ would like to take the time to thank Disney for allowing us to see the screeners for Season 2 of Bad Batch.
Thank you.
Just so you guys know, absolutely, thank you very much. Just so you guys know, this will only be about episode 1 and 2, which, as you guys saw, have dropped today. So those are the only two episodes we're talking about. We're not talking about anything else, but just episode 1 and 2. I was a massive fan, AJ, of Bad Batch last season, and it's so weird. I always say, like, you know, us growing up on George Lucas, who never really gave much attention to the clone troopers, to see what Dave Filoni was able to do with these clone troopers, I think is truly remarkable. Kind of walk me through your thoughts, AJ, on what Dave Filoni has given us with kind of amplifying that these clone troopers are real flesh and blood people that have feelings, that have thoughts, and us now seeing a defective group of clone troopers.
Yeah, I really like the way. That he just establishes the whole universe surrounding the clone troopers within Clone Wars, Rebels, and now Bad Batch. I really like how he does, gives these, like you said, he gives these characters depth so much that you actually even care for them a little bit more than even certain characters within the prequels or in the sequels or stuff like that. Dave just gives us it's hard to explain it. He gives us like a perfect blend of what we've wanted to see in the movies, but at the same time we couldn't get it. So he put it in animation form, which is I think a perfect way to help expand the universe, expand these clone troopers in a way that we can grow to love them. And it worked magnificently in that way. And for it to grow even further within the Bad Batch and getting unique troopers like the Bad Batch. And they have different personalities and stuff like that on the even bigger scale than what we got from Clone Wars between Rex and Cody or Fives and other characters like that. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So to get the Bad Batch who have their own specific set of skills in their way is great to see.
Absolutely. And for season 2, we pick up right where we left off, where our team of ragtag rogue clone troopers are trying to just make their way through the galaxy. They're trying to make their way through the galaxy in a way that kind of keeps themselves quiet off the Empire's radar, but still surviving. So they're still doing missions for Sid. And that's where we find ourselves in episode 1 of season 2. Is Sid gives them a mission that both was bittersweet to me and truly emotional, because I really did think George Lucas did this character wrong. But if you watch Clone Wars, you got that fleshed out, so you kind of feel as though it was more deserving once you get to Revenge of the Sith. But Sid's mission for the Bad Batch is to steal Dooku's money, his war chest of money. I think sometimes that is forgotten how rich Dooku was. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think just fear would have been enough for Dooku and Palpatine to have ruled for as long as they did. You kind of needed money. You needed to pay off some people. You needed to grease some scalps. And Dooku.
Well, remember in this episode, it wasn't Dooku's money. It was the money that he took from other settlements within that specific world.
I took it more so as it was a combination of Dooku's war chest with everything he's taken from people over the years. But okay, we can say that it was just the money Dooku stolen since he became uh, a Sith Lord.
Yeah.
We could say that. That's fine. But Dooku does come from money, so he did have his own money somewhere. So obviously, as you guys can assume, this money is guarded. Palpatine was not stupid. He knew Dooku had money laying around. So Sid sends the Bad Batch on a mission to retrieve said money, essentially from behind the backs of the Empire. AJ, kind of walk us through a little bit of how crazy this mission was in episode 1.
Well, it is a meld between episode 1 and episode 2.
Right.
The way we started off with episode 1 was getting what you said earlier, basically a Pirates of the Caribbean type of moment where the Bad Batch was running away from the, what would you call them? Crabs, the crab monsters,
Yeah,
whatever.
you can call them crabbies.
Yeah, that's what we'll call them for now.
Yeah, call them
So
crabbies.
I really like that, and it also establishes how much Omega has learned from season 1 of Bad Batch to season 2. So we get a little bit of her like expansion within her character. So that's great. Then after that scene, we do get the start of the mission that Sid wanted, and how big that specific mission is to her and everybody else surrounding that planet and other planets. It's basically a very important mission for them to get right. They can't fail this mission at all, because if they do, it's a huge win for the. It's basically a huge win. So it expands on that and explores the danger of this mission if they fail, for the overarching story of Star Wars.
And it wouldn't be the Bad Batch, AJ, unless they failed, right? And we see the Bad Batch kind of go off script of what the actual plan is. We're starting to see a little bit of Omega feeling the need to prove herself, right? Of her kind of not wanting to be the little sister all the time. She wants to be looked at the same way they look at each other, to where her opinion matters. She gets a vote, and she has some real stake in the game, right? So we see in this episode Omega making some really brash decisions that end up getting the team in a lot of trouble. But for me, I like it. It's the natural progression of this character. And when I tell you, AJ, she's a massive question mark for me. Because remember last season for Book of Boba, we thought maybe Omega would show up in Book of Boba. You know, she's such a new character. I have no idea what the future holds for Omega. Right? You know, so for me, it's like I want to see her progress more, because if we're going to see her in other avenues, even if we're not, this is a character that we learned last season is essentially a branch off of all of their trees, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like I want to start seeing how that gets utilized, because I remember last season you saw her start to utilize Hunter's abilities, right? So it's like I want to see what little nuances of everybody in that team she's taken on, whether it's something she's physically learned from them or something she's instinctually learned from them, because again, she's kind of gene spliced of all of them. So to me, her progression is vital to this.
Well, you do. I'm not going to say too much on this, but throughout the season, you do see a lot of that. For example, this first episode,
Hmm.
You can tell that she's learning a lot from Tech. That's why Tech is teaching her
Right.
all the stuff surrounding everything, and why Tech is making her study a lot. Even though Omega is very reluctant on studying and all of that because it's not
Hmm.
that fun. Tech
It's
knows that, yeah.
it's not being in the field. She just wants to
Hmm.
be in the field. And that's why I love in these first two episodes her working so closely to Tech because he's trying to teach her there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? So
Yeah,
it's like, yes, it's cool to see Hunter and Wrecker out there just ripping things in half. But what if I told you there was a way we could utilize our mind to achieving the same thing? So I like that because obviously with her crossbow, she's able to get shit done physically, but I want to know that Omega is capable of being a very smart individual, right? Someone that
hmm,
could think on her feet very quickly, and
yeah.
we saw that she struggled with that in these first two episodes with kind of trying, kind of being too smart for her own good, to where it saves them in a moment and then dooms them in the next.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But again, it's all part of what we want from her in the progression of seeing what this character is destined to become going forward in Star Wars. Because it is a new character. This is not a character we have a book on, we
Yep.
have a movie on or anything like that. This is completely new. So her future could literally be whatever Dave Filoni wants it to be.
She's basically Ahsoka from Clone Wars right now.
100%.
Yeah.
She is Bad Batch. She no, she is clone Ahsoka. That's
Yeah.
what she is. That's what she is. And I think we're enjoying seeing what they're doing with Omega this season. I really did like these first two episodes because, like I said, it really kind of split the team in half between these first two episodes, and kind of showed you how things get done from the smart half of the group and then from the taking action half of the group. And to me, it's good sometimes to be reminded of that. Even divided, these are still some very tough individuals, even on their own. You know.
Yeah, I agree with that. What I also like about this with Omega, I already just talked about this, but her learning a lot from Tech, and you can also see the curiosity, just like what Wrecker has with just creating stuff and just being very curious of things surrounding him. You can see a lot of that with Omega as well. So there's a lot of like hints and pieces of of Clone Force 99 within Omega already, and you can see that within the last season as well. So, like you're saying, it's just a combination of everybody that's within Omega that I really, really enjoy right now. And it's the little nuances that you'll see throughout season two, which makes her character that much cooler in a way.
Yeah, and so let me ask you this. And again, you're only basing it off of the first two
Yeah.
episodes. Just what you got from these first two episodes, would you say that the stakes have heightened from season one heading into season two? Like, does it feel like it's starting to get a little heavier?
I would say yes, because they do have to push things forward. I would
Right.
say at the end of season one, things got a lot darker, especially with the battle. Not, it's not even a battle. The massacre of Kimono.
Yeah.
How do you say it?
Kamino.
Yeah,
Kamino.
Kamino.
Mm-hmm.
So we got that's what's leading up to everything within season two. So you'll start to get those progressions bit by bit. And season two of episode one and two, you get hints of that within Sid's mission after the whole Pirates of the Caribbean scene. You'll get hints of that within that, and that weight of what's the word?
Well, the biggest thing we can say
Pressure. Yeah.
to add to what you're saying is there's a lot of what happened at the end of season 1 that gets answered in season 2. Like that they make sure that they hold certain parties responsible for how that kind of
Well, we'll get into that within the next couple of weeks because
100%.
yeah.
Yep, 100%. So I think all in all, we both enjoyed episode 1 and 2. It was great character development for characters we feel as though we already know so well. That we've now seen them kind of expand on. You know, you're just seeing older, wiser. The uniforms are different than what they were before. Omega has a helmet now and everything. She's just more experienced when she's using her bow and arrow. There's just so much more about this team that lets you know they've just grown together, right? And you would have thought the Bad Batch, they've been together since creation. They can't get any better, right? And it's like, no, the addition of Omega just kind of fleshes them out to where it's like, it's certain moments where they're fighting and they're just like, oh shit, that's right. Omega, like go get Omega. Like she shouldn't be down there. You know what I'm saying? But I will say for all the things that people may have loved about season 1, I feel as though they expand on those things in season 2, and whatever people maybe didn't like in season 1, I feel as though they fixed those things for season 2. So all in all, with these first 2 episodes, it is a great way to start what I think will be one of the best animated seasons of Star Wars.
That's tough. That's tough.
Do you agree?
That's tough.
I just said one of the best. I didn't say the greatest of all time.
Yeah, but there's a lot
just one of the best.
There's a lot of seasons in Clone Wars that are incredible.
Well, okay, all right. Let's be fair. We gotta kind of group Clone Wars as a whole, not as individual seasons. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I only thought there was one bad season of Clone Wars. That was it, and even that, I'm not even 100% sure I feel that way. I'd have to go back and rewatch that said season, but Rebels, I wasn't really impressed with each season. There were seasons closer to the end because there were like 4 in total of Rebels, right? I think like 3 or 4 seasons of Rebels.
It was more than 3.
It was more than 3, so let's say 4 or 5. So if there was 4, I think there was a good solid 2. If there was 5, I think there was a good solid 3. But I know I was not in love with the first season. Like the first season didn't capture me.
There was 4 seasons, yeah.
Okay, there was 4. So yeah. So the first 2 seasons, those last 2 to me I thought were fucking great. Or as AJ would say.
Well, you didn't like the second season? Because that's where the siege. That was the Siege of Lothal where you got Vader.
Yeah. Well, again, I can't judge the whole season off of that one episode. Those few episodes. But again, all of season 2 wasn't bad. It just, to me, I think if I had to rank them, 3 and 4 were the best out of all 4 of them.
See, that's tough too, because I agree with you on season 1. That was the slowest of the seasons, but after the season 1, it just got better and better and better. So
yeah, I think my biggest issue was just I didn't like the way that the Grand Inquisitor was handled. Like it was a character you were introducing to us for the first time, and that's how he went out. Mm-hmm. That to me was a little underwhelming, especially because it should have been a villain that lived a lot longer. You know, like even if you wanted to end Rebels with that character not making it out, I don't think you start with who's supposed to be the head honcho falling as quickly as he did and the way he did. But whatever.
Well, he wasn't that head honcho, but
no. I mean of the Inquisitors. Clearly, Vader is the head honcho, yeah. But of the Inquisitors, the Grand Inquisitor was the guy. So I didn't really like how certain things were handled, but that's neither here nor there. We want you guys to let us know what you thought of episode 1 and 2 of Bad Batch. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you would like to see going forward in this season. But just share your thoughts down below in the comment section. Make sure if you are not already subscribed to us, you subscribe. You give us a like, please. We would appreciate that. And like we said, leave a comment. Let us know you guys' thoughts on our opinions, on the episodes itself, and some of the things you would like to see utilized in this season going forward. Share your theories. Let us know. But you guys can stay tuned. Me and AJ will be doing breakdowns of this entire season of Bad Batch. So we will be with you guys next week for episode 3, and so on and so forth. So make sure you guys stick around for that. We appreciate you guys so much for the support. And again, we want to thank Disney for giving us an opportunity to see all of Bad Batch Season 2. We appreciate you so much. And as always, guys, may the Force be with you.
Always.